Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to set up a designated sawmill area. If you saw a video I did recently, I got an Alaskan sawmill, cut my first log with it, but I did it inside my shop. There's no way I'm going to be doing that on a regular basis. I need an area that's designated to do it. I'd like to get the log up off the ground, so I'm going to build kind of a makeshift sawmill base to set the logs on. Right over here is where we do our firewood. Here's our logs that need processed, and here's the brush pile. I'm gonna have a wood chipper right here so that I can get all my tree stuff dragged in here or dumped off here, and then split it up into firewood, logs, brush, chip the brush into chips, and process the whole tree in a small area. So the only problem with that is we're on a little bit of a hill. So I need to grade this area out and get it flat and level. Then I'm going to put down half blocks and 4x4s long ways and 4x4s across it, and just build something that's really sturdy, that's going to be level for the log to set on, and will also give me the ability to clamp stops on. Because what I found out before is as soon as you start using that Alaskan mill, it wants to wiggle the log or cause it to roll. So if I can slide some wedges or wood blocks or whatever I end up going with up against the log and then clamp them down, that'll hold it still and help me get more of a straight cut. So anyway, we'll get started. Hopefully by the end of the day I've got this set up and got a log on it, and might even try to saw some boards. So let's get going. I think I'll move it a little further up the hill than I said, because I want to be able to get the tractor in between the sawmill, sawdust pile, and the brush pile. So move it up this way a little bit, but I can't go too far because we have a trail right here that leads back to where I parked the trailers. So I'll go ahead and mark off the area where we're going to put it. I made it bigger. My plan was to put the rippers down on the box blade, rip across this and loosen it up and scoop it out. Then I remembered I've got the tooth bar on the bucket. I'm going to see if I can just drive into it and grade it without loosening it up first. So I guess first I should set down the blocks here, put a level on it, and see exactly how many inches down we need to dig that side. It doesn't feel like it's that far off of level when you just stand here. I mean, it's not level, but it doesn't seem like in the span of 5 inches we have a 6-inch drop, but that's what it is. So looks like I need to remove about 6 inches of material from that end. We'll take this to the other end and do the same thing.
This is my spot.
That's your spot?
That's your spot, Daddy. That's your spot, Daddy.
It's about the same here. Try that. Might have been more efficient to do the same thing with the box blade, but I like to experiment with different ways of doing something. And that did work. Now we're kind of wavy, but we've removed quite a bit of dirt. See, maybe we went from 6 inches low over here to maybe an inch low. I might try to smooth this back out just a little bit, and then we'll set our paving blocks in here and level across those blocks. Then if one's a little high, we can remove just dirt from under that one spot instead of trying to level the whole area the rest of the way. Looked at it again. It's gonna drive me crazy. Even if it doesn't matter if it's wavy in between the blocks, it'll bother me. So I'm gonna go ahead and try the box blade just a little bit, flip the ripper shanks up and out of the way, and see if we can smooth it out. Right there. Yeah. Drove up on this mound. Oh yeah. All right, so as I was driving back here, I saw what was gonna happen. I put the box blade down back here. It's pretty level, dragging across. As soon as the tire hit the spot that we hadn't dug out, tractor tilts like this, box blade's not touching the ground on one side anymore. So I'm gonna set the level right here, adjust the box blade down till it's level with the tractor on unlevel ground. I should be able to finish grading this out flat. I think we need to lower this like 1/4 of an inch, half an inch, 5 inches.
So just take off the top?
Yeah, see how it's like that. If you can just dig out a little bit right here, like half an inch or an inch. And if the camera's in your way, scoot it over. Perfect. A little more like that. Just right there. It's not quite long enough.
Now this one.
Even after I felt like I had done a decent job of leveling this ground out, trying to get this wooden frame to sit level so that it wouldn't rock was kind of a slow, tedious process of leveling in both directions, back and forth. Basically just lifting the blocks up, scraping out a little dirt if it was too high, or adding a little dirt if it was too low, until the boards would sit flat and not rock. Alright, so we're basically level in both directions now. You know, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. And it's going to shift a little bit once it gets a 2,000-pound log on it anyway. So I think with 12 blocks under this, it's going to spread the weight out pretty well. I got 3 beams in the span of 3 foot here. Now I'm going to cut the cross beams to 36 inches, and I'll put a cross beam under each of the concrete pads. All right, I've got 2 bolts for each joint here, but I put 1 in each of the 3 spots on this end. I'm gonna go to the other end and measure for square, and then bolt the other side down. Try to get it as close to square as we can. However you're holding it, just make sure you hold it the same way on the other side. It's about 103.5. $103.25. So that's close enough. We're within 1/4 of an inch. Put them where? Each of these spots, where this meets this, there's 2.
There's 2 bolts?
2, 2, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be the driller guy, you be the bolter guy. Get that one and it won't move. Alright, so it's basically done the way I had it planned out. Should be plenty sturdy. It's pretty solid, doesn't move a lot. I'd like it if it were a little taller, but you know, you can't win them all, right? The only problem now is if I put a log on here right now, set it in the center, it's going to set on the bolt heads and try to roll off to one side or the other. So what I think I need, a big part of this is keeping the log centered. So I'm going to cut some 2x4s about this long on each side and then angle those like this, so the log's going to want to roll down into that notch right in the center. That gets me a little further off the ground with the log, and it helps keep the log from moving. Alright, so I cut these 11 inches long. Gonna set them in like this, and having 2 of these is going to keep the log towards the center more. I think basically just screw this down and I should be ready to go get a log and set in. Tuck that lip in, Private, and get it caught on a tripwire. I didn't show you the chainsaw mill and tell you all about it?
No, I've never seen it. That's why I asked if it was being delivered or...
No, it's a chainsaw clamp-on thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you use a chainsaw for lumber.
Never seen one.
I think I'll drive in a bunch of large diameter rebar around this to kind of stake it down and keep the wooden frame from sliding off the blocks. Knock all the knots off like this. Now this log here is too rotten. I mean, a lot of it's solid, but it's split so much on the end, I don't think I could saw this up. All I wanted to do is make sure that this stand is gonna hold the log, and it looks like it's gonna do a really good job of that. Having those 2x4s on the top with the angles cut in them, let that log roll right into it, and I think it's gonna work well. Then I'm gonna go back to using the ladder for the first cut. Set that on. Probably screw it down the same way I did on my previous video. And then if you haven't seen, I've got this Granberg Alaskan sawmill. Currently running the Stihl MS 391, which is a 64cc saw. But I've ordered a larger chainsaw, and when that gets in, then we'll switch over to that. I've also got a ripping chain and a ripping bar up in the shop that I can put on this to get better cuts. I've got a bunch of logs that I need to pick up from a tree I cut down, but until I go get those, I really don't have anything that's either long enough or large enough diameter to be worth milling. So we got this set up today. I'm gonna see if I can make time tomorrow to take the dump trailer and get some logs, and then we'll really get to test this out. I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. In just a minute, you'll see links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.